All right, welcome back to Two Stupid Guys Trade Stocks. I'm Vinny.
I'm Dylan.
And today we have a really special one for you. We've been waiting for this one for a few months now. This is the Michael Burry Q1 2021 update. Are you excited for this one, Dylan?
100%, because I mean, this guy's kind of always right. So
Yeah. No, I want to do a future video where we track his performance. But yeah, I agree. Michael Burry is kind of an interesting character. He's always
the
been around the
man.
corner, you know. But
Yeah.
we'll get right into it. I just want to take a second to say thank you guys for all the subscribers. This channel's grown a lot since we did our last one, and we really appreciate that. You may have seen some headlines today already about this 13F filing. Michael Burry of The Big Short reveals his $530 million bet against Tesla. We're going to talk about that. That's one of the highlights. But there's actually a couple of other things here that I found that were pretty interesting. So this is the website we use. I'll link it down below. This is called Whale Wisdom. Whale Wisdom tracks like the portfolios of any investor that has to file 13F, which is anyone that has over $100 million in investable assets. If you load up the page, you got to land on this thing right here, and it kind of has the update of 3/31/2021, which is the time period for this most recent filing. And if you come into the actual holdings tab here, you'll be able to see what that consists of. So this is the one that's going to get on the headlines. He has a Tesla put representing 800,000 shares of Tesla, which would have a market value of $534 million. Now, that doesn't mean that Burry sold short or anything like that Tesla stock. He has done that in the past. The 13F filings only include long puts, long calls, and long stock positions. Doesn't include any shorts. But he's been pretty vocal about being anti-Tesla. I don't know if you're kind of aware of this, Dylan. I pulled a couple of tweets from his prior to Michael Burry deleting his Twitter.
Way below 100, huh?
Below 100.
Did you say this? February 15th? Man,
yeah,
what are that? Like 800?
Yeah, he's been short Tesla for a while, but we haven't seen it on his previous 13F filings because this is the first time he's used a put to be short Tesla, basically.
Yeah. I mean, he basically is essentially short. I mean, if anything, it's like leverage because it's an option. So
yep. Yeah, now he's now like levered short Tesla, so he thinks it's going to happen more abruptly. And if you actually went back and read this CNBC article that we kind of pulled up really quickly there, there's a good reason for it. The reason being is that if you look at the recent kind of quarterly filings, so look at this, fourth quarter 2021, Tesla's $270 million in net profit. That was because they had $400 million in regulatory credits that they were able to sell. And that is declining rapidly as automakers start producing more and more electric vehicles. So Tesla's kind of advantage in terms of selling these regulatory credits is quickly eroding.
And every big automaker is either starting their own or it has bought in on some of the other 50 SPACs. 50 SPAC EVs. So theoretically, they can just in-house their own credits, and Tesla's going to suffer from that.
Yeah, there's actually a SPAC now in Michael Burry's portfolio.
Oh, is it Fubo?
It is not. It is not actually, but I was surprised to see it there. But anyway, so if you look at this, like I said, big kind of short Tesla position here. That's the one that's been getting all the headlines. He's been very vocal about being kind of thinking Tesla's overpriced. It's not that he's really anti-Tesla, but he doesn't see the value there, especially as the credits kind of diminish in terms of their impact to Tesla's balance sheet. This is what I actually thought was interesting is the next line down here, the iShares 20 plus Treasury bond ETF. So if you look at that, he actually has a kind of a big kind of position here in terms of Treasury bond yields, because as the price declines, the yield increases. So they're kind of an inverse pair there. So right. He's bought a put against a long Treasury bond fund. He has a call down here against a ultra short Treasury bond fund long term. And then he actually had a couple other plays within it too, right here. So he has bought outright some ultra short fund, and then he has another call down here against a short Treasury bond fund. So like he's playing a kind of a reversion towards the mean, I guess you could say, in terms of Treasury yields in 4 different ways, which is fascinating to me. Dylan was kind of like the same thing. Like, why didn't he just do it all at once?
What's the logic between buying Treasury puts and then bear treasury calls because I don't. It's the
I know.
man to be in his mind.
Yeah, exactly. Just a day to walk around in there and see what's up.
What does that even mean?
Like I don't know if you've ever seen this chart here. This is a treasury kind of yield over a few decades here. So we're obviously like historic lows. We hit historic lows last year because of the whole COVID-19 pandemic, and we're starting to inch back up here a little bit. But we are still far away from kind of the mean. And there's been a lot of talk about inflation, whether or not the Federal Reserve is going to have to increase interest rates. And the last time we really saw true like inflation in the United States was here back in the early 1980s, late 1970s. So this would have quite a room to run to get back up towards that territory there. I know, right?
That's a really ballsy bet.
Yeah, can you imagine having like a 15% mortgage?
Yeah, that's my dad always said that's like what he had. I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it seems crazy to us too. One other thing I wanted to highlight actually too, back to the Tesla story. Sorry, I skipped it here. This is a 1 year chart of Tesla. What do you think of Tesla just hovering around that 200-day moving average?
Well, so no matter what, it's very seldom that a stock will just crash below 200-day. But if they are crash below a 200-day, what they'll end up doing is they'll go below it, retest it, and if that retest isn't successful, they can fall for a long time. Yeah. I don't think I can pull it up here while you're talking, but the next kind of deal support would be something called VWAP, which is not usually used for daily. It's usually intraday trading, but the dailies do respect it. I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, especially like I said, it's got pretty extended here, and now you're starting to see it kind of revert back down, and it's just hugging this 200-day moving average right now. I am not a swing trader, but that definitely makes me a little leery that if this thing breaks, that Michael Burry's puts can become very valuable very quickly. Mind you, those puts are this is about 45 days past when they our last kind of update there. We know he had the puts as of about here. Tesla was still trading in the mid sixes at that point, so he's already kind of made some money in terms of that because Tesla's moved down about 10% or so from where he held them.
So VWAP, which is not as near as respected on a daily chart as a 200 SMA, is actually at 550. So we're still within the range. That your 585 is the 200 moving average. And we just closed below that after a hammer going up. And man, this might be oof.
Yeah.
What a ballsy genius guy.
Yeah, that is for sure. Something else I kind of wanted to highlight from this whole thing is, we talked a little bit about last time about the prison REITs. He actually closed one position, I think it was RPT, and he doubled down on the CXW, the CoreCivic, increasing his position in CoreCivic. So I guess he's kind of picked his winner in terms of the prison REITs that he wishes to hold, throughout this whole kind of time period right here.
And for those of you that don't remember, he's bullish on prisons because in times of inflation, there's more crime.
Exactly.
Hence prisons.
Yeah, and then his portfolio definitely kind of has this inflation risk kind of tint to it, at least if you will. This consumer staples typically does well during inflationary time periods. This is a what do you call it? A grocery store chain in like the Mid-Atlantic region. This Zyme kind of caught me by surprise here. It seems like a decent sized position in a biotech company. This is their 1 year chart. As you can kind of see here, they had a pretty decent pullback. I didn't get a chance to search for the news regarding this, but they are definitely a clinical stage biotech company. They have partnerships with a lot of big names, Johnson & Johnson, Merck. But I didn't get a chance to see what news items transpired around this time. But we know that he held them approximately here, so it's still pretty flat to where Michael Burry, for sure had a position within them. I took a look at their most recent quarterly filing. It looks like they do a lot of kind of oncology treatment stuff. They have like targeted gene therapy, which is definitely interesting. I working in medicine, you see a lot of this HER2 stuff, unfortunately. So I think it's a certainly interesting from that standpoint. It's a company I'm gonna dive deeper into myself, try to figure out a little bit more about what his thought process is here. because being a cash flow investor predominantly is what I considered him. He does have some biotech plays, which is kind of interesting to me. Yeah, I don't know, right?
I was trying to look up like if the brand of zanidatamab. For any of those people that aren't in medicine, if it ends in mab, it means money. That's the general rule. They're very expensive medications.
It means monoclonal antibody, but yes, it's very, very valuable. Typically,
it means money.
Yeah,
mad money.
Tens of thousands of dollars a year is like what the treatment in that kind of realm costs. So continuing down his portfolio here, he actually did decrease his stake in Lumen Technologies. Pretty reasonable. It actually had like a decent kind of run up here. You're talking about a 30-40% appreciation from the where he initiated the position, so it makes sense. CVS was kind of interesting. He previously had a position on them opened in the third quarter of 2020 and it closed in the fourth quarter of 2021. But he's kind of circled back around and has reopened a position in CVS, both in long shares and in a call option right here. Yeah. So, I mean, he's kind of bullish on CVS. CVS is trading at like a forward PE of like 15. So I'm not surprised. That seems to fit with his cash flow perspective. Some energy companies, the SunCoke Energy, and now is a predominantly oil driller. He actually has a couple other oil plays here. So Occidental.
Oxy. Guess who's swinging Oxy right now? And I might as well go long if it's in his portfolio.
Might as well.
I'm in at like 24.50. It was going to be in the swing video and it didn't make the cut. I did X instead. X also went up, so it's fine.
Yeah, he has a few other like kind of oil drillers. This HP is another oil driller, and then PDS, Precision Drilling Corporation. So he's got a few there. And then, like I said, this is that kind of inverse, ultra short treasury. If you go to the second page of everything here, you're going to see. This is a transport kind of company, Genco. So it's another way to play oil and gas, and also kind of shipping of raw materials around the United States, around the world. Golden Ocean, kind of oil drilling, another energy play. This is another transport company, Scorpio Tankers. Cool name.
I muted myself because my dogs are barking. Sorry.
I gotcha. And then look at this. Yet another kind of treasury ETF call option.
Man, what is this guy?
And finally one more biotech pharmaceutical company. These are the things we're now down here, things that he closed out of his position. There was actually a viewer that asked about Citigroup, said he was up significantly on his calls. Good for you, man. It looks like Burry closed those calls. I actually exited my Citigroup stock as well.
Me too.
Yeah, I was long Citigroup. I'm out of Citigroup now. This is one of the other prison REITs that, like I said, he closed out of there. Did I skip the what do you call it? Where was it? Vector Acquisition Corp. That's the SPAC he's actually in, which is supposed to merge with Rocket Lab. Yeah.
No idea what that is.
Rocket Lab is I want to say
sounds like they make rockets though.
Yes, they're out of like New Zealand or Australia. They're kind of in the small to medium-sized satellite like launching business. They've had a few successful launches so far and recoveries. Their kind of major claim to fame, I guess, is that they're using electric motors for like the turbine pumps on their rocket engines. So interesting compared to like a traditional rocket engine has like a pre-burner, which is used to pump the fuel into the main engine. Yeah, I completely not related to this video, but. But yeah, anyway, so I was just like, Michael Burry's in a SPAC, and that's the one, Vector Acquisition Corp.
It's basically Fubo.
Yeah, basically. And then, I wanted to highlight this last one. So this ARPO, another healthcare company, it's a biotech company, but interestingly, if you wanted to follow him into this trade, if you take a look at it, they just had a nice little bump up today after hours. During the day, 43%. It sounds like they're going to get a merger deal going here with another bioscience company. So it looks like that ship may have sailed.
Yeah, that's probably over.
Yeah, this COVID drug, the protecting against vessel dysfunction, is interesting. So COVID does definitely increases your risk of blood clots and things like that. So could be viable, could be important, but kind of interesting, I thought, at least.
Go back. Can you go back to his closed positions?
Yeah, can do.
So I noticed he also closed tap.
Yeah, he closed tap.
He's out on tap.
He got out on tap. I can't say I blame him. He was looking at getting into tap somewhere. This says 45, but in reality, I think he probably got into it lower than that. I think they hit like a low of about 35 during the quarter in which he opened the position. When this says estimated average price paid, they're just using the price from the final day of that quarter in which he opened the position. Okay. But yeah, I'm staying in tap. It kind of changed my position why I got into them. I got into them originally for a cash flow purpose. And now I'm looking at them from a standpoint of the social arbitrage trade. I've some good videos out there by Dumb Money. If you've never checked them out, they're kind of social arbitrage investors. So I figure it's worthwhile staying in tap for now because you have a couple of catalysts coming up with the Topo Chico, hard seltzer. I think this is going to be a pretty big summer as far as alcohol consumption. People are ready to go a little buck wild. And you're also going to see the ZOA, the Brock energy drink, rolling out this year. So they have some good catalysts coming up for tap. And I'm willing to wait for another 6 months at least to see kind of how that merits out. Discovery had a big news today, the merger with S&P.
So that was the other one I realized that he sold that's fairly interesting because it was them and Viacom that had the massive crashes, right?
Yeah.
So they were chilling at $80 and crashed down to 35 within 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
I really wonder where he bought it and if he lost money on that because we don't know the exact dates. We're just kind of guessing.
So you can look at it when he instituted his position. We talking about the first quarter of last year, so it was around $19 at the end of that quarter. He probably caught close to a double somewhere in that ballpark on it. Anyways,
awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Can't fight the master, man. He's like the Yoda of deep value investing.
Oh, jeez.
I know, right? Gonna get copyright strike by Disney. All right, then. You have any closing thoughts?
No, I'm very surprised he closed tap because I thought that they still had a lot more to run. I'm very, very the short on Tesla is that's not like a little short. It was 39%. I was like, he's going hard.
Yeah.
This is gonna be interesting.
To show you the other Michael Burry tweet about going short Tesla because you don't have to disclose short positions. So at one point he had just tweeted this. Oh, my shorts that got me down before, hoping I'm no clown.
What an interesting guy.
Jeez. Yeah, he is. This is I think from February 8th, 2021.
Yeah.
So he's talked about it before. Like I said, actual short positions do not have to be disclosed. Just now that he's long a put, that's the reason why it's in this regulatory filing.
All right.
Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.
Have a good one.